All right. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on where you're located. We are live with our trading crew here with another FOMO Friday. Super excited to dive into the markets today. Lots of stuff happening. Just wanted to throw it out there also that anything that we do discuss here today is not financial advice. It's purely for fun and educational purposes. And we'll be drawing some lines, looking at the charts. Do your own research, of course, but it's going to be fun. We are waiting for Bits of Wealth to join in and also Bad Price, so they will be joining us here shortly. There is a lot of stuff happening in the markets today. It seems like there was a news about President Trump and his a tariff plan, actually. So it seems like Supreme Court is going against his tariff, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I know. I think a lot of people were thinking about that, and what was happening with tariff and how it impacted the market. So we could take a little bit of a break here for as far as the markets go, market sentiment go. I'm actually gonna go and post the link to the stream on my X because it doesn't automatically post it. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Give
Yeah,
me
if you
one
click
second.
your profile, picture on
Mm-hmm.
X and you like open the live stream, you can just click the post this button on the
Mm-hmm.
share button on the right, and you'll just be able to post it to your timeline. It is really silly, I will
Perfect.
say.
Yeah, this is awesome. So I'll go ahead and post it here. I just want to make sure that I tag everybody who's part of the crew. Bits of Wealth is here. I'm going to bring him to the stage right here. Good morning, Bits. How are you doing today? We are live.
Let's see, Bits, what's going on, dude?
He's still muted. It takes him a second to get
Takes
his
me a
audio.
little bit. Takes me like a minute to switch my audio over. Yeah, lady trader already knows. I think she's got it down to the exact seconds that it takes me to. yeah. It's because so the way I have it set up, right, is I've got both a headset and desktop speakers plugged into the back of the motherboard. And so it's using the same like motherboard output on the computer, and I have to go in there and switch it from headset to desktop. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't figured out how to have them both switch quickly. But yeah, so it just takes a second. It takes like 5 seconds or something like that. But how's everyone doing?
Good,
Doing
good.
good,
I'm
man.
yeah trying to post it on X because it doesn't automatically post it, so it
I
creates an
know.
additional
Yeah.
work on my end. But it's good because I can modify the description and get more people up here.
Yeah, and I think people, as they're coming on, they're just chilling with us while we get all that done and stuff. So yeah, it is kind of a bummer that it's not automatically doing that, but it is what it is.
Yep.
I wonder if it's a problem on X's side or if it's a StreamYard issue, though, right?
Yeah. Um, no, it could be.
No,
It could be
it's
either.
an X issue.
Is it
I
Is
an?
it?
use Restream, and Restream has the same problem.
Okay,
It's live streaming to X in general is
got it.
just a nightmare right now.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is also why, like, I do think it's smart that we're multi-streaming to YouTube and wherever else really we can get it. Because yeah, I like I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, man, we're putting in a lot of effort into just growing the X content, but what if something changes and then it's like we're starting from scratch on a
Yeah.
different platform? So it's like, man, I need to start splitting off a little bit. And I really was focused heavily on trying to get to 10K followers on X though, but I think that now that I've hit that, I gotta get myself up to 1,000 or something like that on YouTube. I'm at like 200, I think.
I would say the climb from 0 to 1,000 on YouTube is so much harder than on any
Yeah,
other platform. Like
yeah,
that is super
Hmm.
difficult. Like TikTok is probably, I would say, the easiest. Instagram and TikTok are
I've
probably
heard
the
that.
easiest.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's easy to go viral on there. Like Twitter can be very difficult. It just depends, really.
Mm,
But I would say Twitter is still easier than like you get more traction for content like this on Twitter than you would on YouTube. YouTube's punishing a lot of charting content right now, a lot of crypto content. They're
gotcha.
punishing a lot of that.
Yeah, that's it. I think X was doing it too. Like I know it's um, in their policy somewhere where you can't even run ads for crypto, things like that. It's like okay.
Yeah, but I think
Yeah,
that's always been the case, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been the case. Like even
TikTok has historically been like that too, but they recently pivoted, and now TikTok is like, they're not pro crypto, but there has been like some marketing stuff in there where it's like, oh, post about a token and get $1,000, like if you have the highest view video or something like that. So
Got it.
it's been very interesting.
So we're gonna actually start to really dive into the markets today. So Bits, we were actually talking about the Supreme Court ruling against President Trump for
Got it.
against tariff. So that
Yep.
was very, very interesting. I know a lot of us, not like this group in particular, but crypto Twitter was definitely impacted by by the
Yeah.
tariff news and all of the volatility that it brought to the table. And so it seems like Bitcoin is still in that range that we drew a few weeks ago. It's so crazy to kind of see that we were talking about this range, and here we are even today, still in that same range, and we are getting close to that 4-week mark as well. Like this is going to be the 3rd week. I am definitely excited to see how the weekly candle closes. Bits, we're
Yep.
going to start with you. If you want to bring up your charts, I know
All right.
you were you posted something earlier today, and you're actually talking about some of the coins that you are bullish on right now: Cardano, LTC, Doge, AVAX. Oh my goodness, AVAX! Like that was the forgotten one. And I see Carl has joined us as well. Carl, aliens, we'll look into that. Yeah, there's been some cool discussion around it. I know there was a meme coin that went up as well. I know you got into that one. So yeah, interesting last few days. So Bits, take it away.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just playing with this layout thing down here to figure out what the best way to put this is. We'll put it like that for now, maybe, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let me, I mean, I was looking at a couple things, but let me start with one thing, which is total crypto market cap. And so I was playing with this idea. There's what I would call this channel that's formed here, this range, right? And I was playing with what are the probabilities that this thing does come down here to the bottom of this channel and near this 2017, 2018 level for total crypto market cap. And so I inverted it like I usually do, just to kind of check my bias, make sure I'm not just doing some moon math type stuff. And it's like, no, look, I can see that maybe, what if we were to get a rejection off of the midline of the channel, which is what we basically touched down to. We touched that perfectly. If you go look at it, actually, the touch on that median there, look how clean that was, guys. I mean, that was a beautiful touch right to the middle of that channel. And that channel is formed by taking, these wicks down here. So recent wick high, previous wick high, and then this wick low from October, from bear market low. So you basically have cycle to cycle highs, and then you're anchoring with the bear market lows, right? And I'll put it back in non-inverted so you guys can see that. But it's current cycle high, previous cycle high. So that's how you draw the channel. You grab it from here, pull it back to there, and then you pulled it back to the bear market low. And so that's what this channel is. And we touched on this recent move. We touched exactly on the midline here, this 50% of this fib range. So, this is why I've kind of been entertaining the possibility, Lady Trader, that maybe we're getting a little bit of a relief pump. I don't know that it would go quite as high as this, but that is the next big fib level that you could get an extension to if you were to get a bounce here. But then ultimately, like I'm looking at this zone down here, which is the bottom of the channel. You also have, at that point, you're basically filling this entire imbalance here, this inefficiency. You're coming for this liquidity that is below this accumulation range here, right? So you're kind of coming for that. And so this entire zone down here starts to get interesting to me. Basically sub 1 trillion, right? Sub 1 trillion market cap for total crypto, or about there, right? Around that. Back in 2017, 2018, it went up as high as 760 billion. So, we kind of bottomed at that level here at the bear market lows. It came down and it tested that same level, 750, 760. What are the possibilities that we get near that again? Maybe we don't break below that, but it kind of hovers here in this area, putting in something like that, where it's like a kind of like a another cycle low down here towards the same timing we're already talking about, which is late Q3, early Q4 of this year. And then what if that's where our low forms up here, just slightly above these bear market lows from this last time? So I don't know. I'm looking at this idea, and I flipped it over, and it passes the sniff test. When you invert it, if you're looking at this, I'm going to hide some of this stuff just to kind of clean it up. But we're looking at this. It kind of passes the sniff test here. Number one, you had this downtrending structure, right? So you're getting lower highs, lower lows. And then here, what did we just do? You just set a structure shift, right? So now you went above this swing here. Remember, this is inverted, by the way. But we just broke above that swing here. So now the expectation should be that if it were to pull back, I am looking for a higher low there. And because it's inverted, we're basically looking for a lower high, right? Is essentially what I'm saying here on this channel. So how high, how low that could go, I don't really know. Like we could speculate, and there's some levels there, and we've covered a lot of those, right? But essentially what I'm looking at now is like, what is the possibility that we've actually got a little small channel inside of this larger one where we could get a pullback inside of here and then continue to the upside, and then what are the levels up there? So understanding that, I guess, and the potential that could this bounce a little bit from here? And like if I zoom in, let's go back into like a weekly time frame here. If we were to get a little bounce down here, and it could require, right? I think this is in line with what you've been talking about. It could require that we need to maybe sweep this low first, or get near it before there's some kind of bounce to the upside. Like I'm open to that. As a matter of fact, if I turn on some of these levels here on the gentleman's suite, what if it's necessary that in order to go back to monthly open or yearly open, that we do need to come down and either get back near that 60K low, maybe sweep it, or maybe just come close to it before we can get an extension up. The point is, I'm trying to say that I think at some point it would make sense that we get kind of this little bit of a bounce here before we get that next big move down that then takes us down, towards these lower levels that we'd be talking about. I don't know for a fact that we're going to get it. I know it would. I wouldn't be surprised, and it would make sense structurally if it did, right? So something like that. And so when I'm looking at this, I start looking at some of these Dino coins. Like Cardano is a really easy one. I start looking at Cardano.
Real quick, Bits. I don't want to cut you off too quick. I just want to get some clarification. Was that total market cap inclusive of stablecoins?
Yeah. This is everything.
Okay.
This is just standard total chart.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. Right.
Yep. No, good question. Good clarifying question. So yeah, this one does include everything. It's just a standard total ticker, right? And what you will find, though, I guess, William, is with that is if you do remove stables from a lot of these charts, the structure actually stays the same. So the structure is the same. It's just the market cap number is different, right? So instead of maybe instead of 2.3 trillion, we're closer to 1.6 or something like that. I don't know exactly what it would be, right? But structure's pretty close to the same.
That's interesting, because you would think like the stablecoin market cap, like obviously, like not stablecoin, but the total market cap wouldn't change much if you're just swapping from like ETH to USDC. It would remain the same, right? It's just a wash at that point.
Well, you'd be removing it, right? You'd be removing stables while leaving in Ethereum.
You need fiat to leave crypto essentially in order for this to change or be added to it. Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So like if I was to remove it, though, is there a total ES? Yeah. So total crypto market cap excluding the stables right here, total ES. You can see the structure is pretty much
relatively the same. Yeah,
structure's the same, but look, we're at 2 trillion instead of 2.3 trillion. You're leaving out a little chunk there, but structure's pretty much the same. So but yeah, dude, this is a good call out, though, because it is important. Like when we're looking at a lot of these here, like if I look at total 3, I do like to exclude the stables. Although structure's about the same, but in terms of like just looking at the liquidity that's coming in or leaving, I do like to pull that out of that. But total, I've always just kind of left it with stables, right?
Yeah,
So
if the structure is the same, it doesn't make sense.
it doesn't it doesn't matter.
It doesn't add any value to remove it. Yeah.
Yeah, from a TA perspective, no. Now, from like a fundamental side, if you're saying, okay, how much money is actually coming into the system and how much is potentially
How much is leaving crypto and coming into
Yeah,
crypto, right? Like,
yeah,
we know stablecoin market caps have been just ever increasing. Like they're up,
yes,
since last week even. So,
yep. And at some point, dude, that could change, right? Like they pass some of these acts that I think Landy and I were just talking about this yesterday. They pass some of these acts where governments suddenly start putting in a lot of liquidity into stable coins, right? And that could then start to shift these charts. So I'm definitely going to watch them in the long term, the stable versus excluding stables, just to see when those start to diverge a little bit. Because then I think things could get interesting, right?
oh, very.
Yeah, you'll have a lot of parked purchasing power that you'll be wondering how, on the click of a button, they could just easily swap from USDC to BTC or ETH or whatever, and you'll kind of want to.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, dude, I like looking at Cardano. I've been watching this range here. Cardano had an aggressive sweep to the downside. I believe I'm trying to think of what time frame I was looking at it on that. This gentleman's suite indicator was just like, it was just flashing like, dude, like that's a significant low. It was one of these time frames. It outlined it. It was like screaming like, dude, that might be, yeah, right here on the daily. Okay, so on the daily, this indicator that I use, the gentleman's suite by our friend Ash, notice it highlighted this candle in yellow, telling me that there's a high probability of a reversal. That's usually what that means. And then it actually gave me these two little ticks here, which means one of them means bottom, the other one means extreme. So it's like a bottom extreme reversal that it basically flashed on here. And then when I looked at this, and I also looked at the volume, right? So you had this little cluster of volume here, which was interesting to me, right? You had like big sell, massive buy volume that came in right after that deep sell. And then you still had a little bit more here. So it's like, man, this was a huge like liquidity event that happened here in Cardano. This was massive. And what's interesting is you actually had this more pronounced on Cardano than pretty much any other chart that I've seen. Other than like illiquid things, but out of like the majors, Cardano was very interesting. Cardano's actually also one of the few that came down. And I promise, Lady Trader, I'll speed it up here in a sec. I don't want to take up the whole thing.
Oh no, take
your time. This is interesting. I need to know why I need to buy Cardano. This is
yeah. So check this out. So Cardano actually also here, I'll hide some of those. So Cardano's one that almost came and almost bottom ticked to that 2023 low. I mean, it came down just shy of it, right? So it took out, basically on this move, you took out the 2025 low, which was that October candle. You took out 2024 low from August of 2024, and you came down and basically touched your 2023 low from back in June of 2023 on Cardano. Okay. So just major wipeout to the downside. You're taking everything out essentially at this point. You would have had to have bought pre-2021 to not have been affected by this downside, right? And still be in profit. So that's massive, massive, massive. Now, I'm not a fundamentals guy. Like, I don't get deep into what Cardano's doing as a network or why I should be bullish on the community. This is just a technical perspective, right? Just purely technical. So you wiped out this massive move on Cardano. Basically, unless you were in pre-2021, you were affected in some way, right? So it's massive. And now I'm looking at this thing, right? And so here, let me remove some of these drawings that are kind of just taking up a lot of screen real estate here. So now I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, okay, we had a major wipeout. The indicator's going crazy, telling me that was a big deal in terms of like a liquidity event. I'm below all of these massive yearly levels. I came down to all the way to 2023. So then I start kind of zooming out, and I'm watching. I'm going to hide these other lines that I had just thrown on there. So then I'm looking at these weekly and monthly charts, and I'm going to go to the monthly. I'm looking at these charts, and I'm looking at this October candle from last year, right? This thing is massive. And this is also what printed essentially the low of 2025, right? So this candle is responsible for the low of 25. the high of 25 was this March candle back here. But then I'm looking at this thing, man, and I'm like, all right, let me see if I can find where these lines are. I put some lines on here. Those are not the ones. We may just draw brand new lines. All right, we'll draw some new ones. So then I'm looking at this candle, and I'm thinking of it as like, okay, everything since that October monthly candle, everything's been an inside bar, right? Meaning nothing has gone outside of October's range. So if I then highlight October's high, and then I highlight October's low, okay, this is the range that October basically gave us. Everything since then has been inside of October's range. Wild, right? So everything's been inside October's range. We haven't gone above it, haven't gone below it until recently. We just now this year swept the downside of that, but we're back inside October's range, right? And so if I'm thinking about this as like a trading range, we swept the bottom of the range and we're back. We have reclaimed that range. We've got 8 days, 8 days and 6 hours. But if in 8 days and 6 hours, this monthly candle closes inside of October's range, I'd say there's a decent chance that we're going to trade back up into this range as opposed to trading out of the range, right? Because you swept it here, you swept it here. This candle went deeper than January's, but it closed back within January. So not only are we now back inside of October, we're back inside January's range as well. So just kind of highlighting some ranges, right? Like to pay attention to. So even if I was to mark January's range, that is January's range. Like maybe we're just going to come up and sweep the upper side of January. That'd be fine by me, right? Maybe that's the move. So I'm looking at this. We took out January low. We took out 2025 low, which was marked by October. And we're back inside both of those ranges. We're back inside the 2026 current range, and we're back inside 2025's range. With a huge tail wick to the downside. You go to the 3-month chart. This one's also starting to paint a similar picture. There's a month left, over a month left on this one. But if this quarterly candle closes inside of the previous quarter's range, a lot of times that signifies that the move that's coming is going to be essentially a move back to the top of that previous range. So we'd be basically looking at, like, let's say we jumped in now, we'd be looking at a move back to the top of that prior range, because you basically took the outside of the bottom range. You could be moving to the top of this one. So potentially this is what we might be looking at here for Cardano. Is I think there's a decent chance that whether this low is in now or it still needs to come down and sweep this, this next month could still sweep down, as long as it doesn't go deeper than February's candle. There could still be a valid move back up. And so, even if you just go up to January's range, and if you were to jump in right this second, which I'm not saying to do that. I'm sharing this as an example. You'd have a 21% risk for a 57% potential return. So you a little bit better than a 2.5-hour trade from current price. If this thing were to go up to the top of the October candle, then that becomes a little juicier, right? That same 20% risk now gives you a 200% plus potential return. So you're closer to a 10-hour trade if that were to play out. So I'm kind of watching this, man. I'm watching this range very closely. Doge is doing a similar thing. Doge swept a bunch of key levels, massive October candle. It's swept even this. I mean, you can kind of start seeing this. There's a pattern in ICT, power of 3, they call it, right? I've got a guy who trades something called accumulation, manipulation, distribution, fractals. I don't know if this qualifies as that, but I'm looking at just where would the draw on liquidity be next? It's already swept to the downside, both last month, both current month, and it's swept last year's lows. Why would it still need to go further down from here? Liquidity draw should now be to the upside. So same thing on Dogecoin. I'm looking at Dogecoin and I'm thinking, okay, look, an entry now. Let's say you put your stop, and this is being like very conservative. You're putting the stop below this low volume area here on the node. If you want to be the most conservative, you're putting it below the absolute low, right? You're putting it absolutely below the low. Even here, it's above a 2.5-hour trade just to this midpoint. If you were to take it up to the top, it's an 8-hour trade. But let's assume you just put your stop loss behind this low volume, because this should act as like padding. The chance of this setup being valid and this going below that do not quite mingle well together, right? Like it's either going to play out the way I'm suspecting it could be, and it's not going to go past this low volume area, or if it comes down below this, then it's not going higher. It's going to go significantly lower. So this is a clear invalidation for me. So if I had my stop here, if I entered now, there's a chance that if this moves up here, it's over a 3.5 hour trade from here to here, right? So I'm taking a 15% risk for a 55% potential return. If it were to go all the way to the top of that October candle, that same 15% risk gets me 168% potential return. So yeah, a lot of these OG coins, man, and it's not all of them. Litecoin's another one that's kind of setting up similar. I don't have the high time frame thing fully mapped out here, but it's pretty much the same thing. You can see here October's candle low. Also on the daily, this one was flashing all the indicators on the gentleman's suite, right? So it gave us the yellow outline candle. It gave us the bottom reversal ticks here. Volume on the bottom, same thing. You had engulfing bull volume to the big red move, right? So you had engulfing volume on the pickup after that dump. Right now it's just kind of going sideways in a range. All of the EMAs are quickly approaching price, which means we're about to get an explosive move in some direction. And I'm just simply speculating that with coins like this, like with Litecoin, you've taken everything out from the last 2 years of liquidity. Basically, you'd have to go back to bear market lows at this point to wash out any further liquidity in Litecoin. What are the chances that instead of going lower, it's going to make a move back up here, near $80 and potentially go back to the highs over 100? Again, none of these are calling for new all-time highs. I'm not calling new all-time highs on Doge. I'm not calling new all-time highs on ADA. I'm not calling new all-time highs on LTC. I'm just saying there's potentially a very strong mean reversion that's about to happen here if Bitcoin can behave. If Bitcoin just doesn't dump from here, I think if Bitcoin just works on getting back up near 72 to 74, you're probably going to see some of this stuff start to pick up.
Makes
and
sense.
I think others BTC is kind of hinting at that when you look at others BTC. Let me see if I can quickly pull that up.
Yeah, we actually had a conversation about that in the space today, where like if BTC consolidates, we could see alts pumping here. A lot of alts have already started to pump.
Yep, exactly. You're actually seeing some of these alts outperform and lead on some of these moves. So yeah, man, I don't know. I'm watching this stuff like a hawk right now because I think there could be something here. The beauty of it is there's a quick invalidation. Like these have given me clear lows where if it breaches those lows, then this idea isn't playing out, right? But it's similar to what I was seeing right before I did these massive pumps end of 2024, and I caught all of these. I caught LTC from 50 to 100. I caught XRP from 50, 60 cents to $2. I caught Cardano on this move from 30 cents to $1.20-ish or whatever it went to. I'm kind of seeing the same thing again, man. So I don't know.
We have the Cardano Maxi over here, bits of wealth, everyone.
Dude, no, like people, I could care less what these things are.
Midnight Protocol, let's go, guys! Yeah,
yeah. Who knows, man? So we'll see. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, no, bits is only, it's funny too. Sometimes we will be doing like these small cap analysis or even looking at some of the meme coin charts together and small caps, and bits is like, okay, I have no idea what it is, but here's what I see on the charts, and it's usually on point. So that's the beauty about being a trader. It doesn't matter what instrument it is, what coin it is, what the project fundamentals are, you could always find a trade.
I think I enjoy more not knowing. Like I enjoy just it's like a mystery. It's like
there's an argument to be made for it too. I think Brandon Hong was talking about this in an interview, but it kind of made sense to me. Basically, he was saying that he prefers not to even know what like the fundamental underneath of what he's trading, because then it adds bias. It adds bias to his trade.
Yeah,
and he's trying to avoid bias.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm going to actually share my charts here next. I have a couple of things that I want to talk about, and also some really cool tweets that I want to share with everybody in case you have not seen it yet. So the first chart that I want to share is going to be total. So this is basically the total market cap, but it's excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and also stablecoin. And then it's paired with BTC, so not USD. But one thing that was interesting is that this chart has not taken the October 10 lows yet. So that was something that
is an ugly one.
I'm tracking. So now it makes me
Ladies
wonder,
and gentlemen, that concluded our bearish segment of the show, or bullish segment of the show. We're now officially in we're in down only for the rest of this show.
No, there's gonna be some good stuff. I'll give some bullish sentiments too. But this is, it just makes me wonder, are we like, where are we gonna bottom out? You know, for towards the end of the year, is it gonna take out these lows? So yeah, this was interesting. I also want to go back to total market cap, but I'm going to be excluding the stable coin. Let me actually go to the 12-month chart for this one. So this is something that I want to bring to everybody's attention. Is it this one? Yes, I believe this is the one. No, that's not the one. This is totals 3ES. Is that the one that I bring up? There it is. Okay, this is the one that I wanted to talk about. So want to go back to something that Tony has posted. Tony's also one of the traders that I have a lot of respect for. This guy, he has shared a bunch of really great things on his X account. And some of these people, I mean, they were talking about what's happening right now. This is how you can kind of spot who really knows what they're talking about, right? These are not the people who have to go back and delete anything. These are not the people who are going to be, just saying, hey, yeah, I saw this coming, but there's really no proof to back it up. They can see things coming from miles away. And those are the people that we need to keep an eye on. So Tony posted something. This was very, very interesting, where you have the totals, the total 3ES. This is basically just excluding all of the stable coins with it. But it's also creating this pattern. This is also, by the way, it's excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoin, right? So all of that. And this is creating this 3 inside down pattern, which is what Bits was also talking about. This is like a classic ICT pattern as well. A lot of folks from ICT love to see this. And we are seeing this right now. This is not on a smaller time frame either. We are talking about a yearly time frame, right? So 12-month time frame. And this is what it's creating. As you can see, it's already kind of retested the body of the bottom candle of this one. So what this tells you, what he basically said here, Tony, was that this is a potential bearish reversal pattern in Japanese candlestick analysis. Remember, this is a yearly chart, right? So this is not like your monthly or weekly or daily or any of those time frames. It's a very high time frame. And such a topping pattern on a yearly chart could indicate a 3 to 5 year long bear market at minimum for altcoins. And so this is something that we need to track carefully, because this is going in line with a lot of things that we've been kind of talking about on a higher time frame. Of course, in the short term, things can get bullish, like what Bits was talking about earlier. Makes perfect sense to me. We are probably going to get some bullish price action here, but this is something that we need to track cautiously as we go into the next cycle. Where are we going to potentially bottom out on altcoins? That's where these charts are going to be interesting to kind of keep an eye on. So this was one of the tweets that I wanted to bring to your attention. The second one was something that Patrick posted. This is another thing when we talk about, Bits of Wealth, Patrick, North Star. These people will sometimes bring in charts that we are not normally looking at. Like, at least I'm not. I'm not comparing Bitcoin to Solana, like in that way. I'm not comparing Solana to gold. I didn't even compare Bitcoin to gold until Bits brought it to my attention, because it didn't matter. It's like, hey, BTC USD, keep it simple, buy the lows, sell the highs, you're good to go. And it's still, that strategy works until you get into altcoins. And then you got to really figure out what else is out there. Like Bitcoin and gold chart did create the top for altcoin. It marked the top for altcoin season. And so that's when I saw this one, I was like, oh, wow, this is very interesting. So he's basically comparing Bitcoin to what was happening with cannabis mania. And so, of course, marijuana stocks, as we all remember, were, they were pumping, they were going up, and they created a very similar pattern. So he's basically comparing it to canopy growth. And if you look at it, this is a very, very similar pattern. And then after that, of course, there was a 99% retracement. And it's Bitcoin right now is creating a very similar pattern as well. So again, it's likely not to do that 99% down, but hey, yearly chart is very awful, and something like that could potentially put you into that multi-year bear cycle. And there are a lot of people that are talking about multi-year bear cycle, and a lot of people that I respect are talking about it, which goes against my analysis, right? Because I do believe, according to historical data, we are supposed to bottom out in October, and that's what I'm going off of. I will be buying in October. That's my plan. But I need to bring this to everybody's attention so that you guys are, it's not just an echo chamber of me telling you October is the bottom, October is the bottom. But hey, there are a lot of people who are saying some things that are very interesting, and you need to be paying attention. It's about getting you the best possible education out there so that you can make up your own mind, that you can follow who you think resonates with you, and you keep an eye on everything and look at it from a holistic perspective, not just what Lady Rice telling you, what not just somebody else is telling you. It's, you're looking at a holistic picture here. So these were interesting. The other one I'm going to actually skip on bits, because that one I'm going to come back to after this because it's gold. So we'll save the best for the last. But North Star posted something as well that was very interesting, and this is something that I've talked about. So if you guys remember, we had this conversations quite a bit where people think, because we created a new all-time high before halving, this time it's going to be different. This time we are not going to have a bear market. This time it's completely different because we created a new all-time high before the halving, which is true. Percentage-wise, I've always corrected people whenever they bring it up to me that, hey, look at percentages. It's not that difference from 2021. It's exactly the same percentages, maybe a couple of percent difference, but that's it. So you want to start looking at percentages. And then I also said in the same conversation that we are going to be going below the previous bull market high for the bear market. So does that mean, are you going to be super bearish after that? Because that's happening. And now other people are also talking about it. And North Star is talking about it as well. So you could see this one, he's drawn it. And I wanted to bring it up because this is as clear as day, like very clean chart that he's basically showing here. But basically, Bitcoin has never fallen below previous bull market high before, right? And you can see that when we had a crash here in 2014, it did not go below the previous high. Same here, right? We had a high here for 2013. When we crashed here in 2018, we did not go below this one. We didn't even test these. And now after that one, we got very, very close to it, right? So 2017 high. In 2022, we got super close to this high. And now we are actually already sitting at a previous high. So this is something that we need to track because we are about to crash under this. And this is not a good news for bulls in the long term. This tells you like how exhausted it is. Like it was not exhausted here, right? Big parabolic moves here. Now here it's kind of losing that steam a little bit. So you could see it very clearly, the exhaustion on this chart. And so I wanted to bring this to your attention because you got to carefully watch it. And like I said, something like this, so many things that are happening right now on 12-month chart. We are seeing a lot of great people talking about it. Patterns can tell you that this can potentially send us into a multi-year bear market. So we need to be cautious as we go into the next bull cycle. Hopefully we get that, right? Hopefully we get that bottom in October and everything is great. But you could clearly see the exhaustion here. It is very exhausted chart. It's like it's about to just roll over, and who knows where it's going to end up. So very, very interesting. Of course, wherever it goes, we will be very happy to see lower prices, right? It doesn't matter. The heck, if it gives us that 90% crash or more, we would welcome that as perma bulls for Bitcoin who believe in the long-term potential for Bitcoin. So we welcome those prices for sure. So let's see how it plays out. Now I'm going back to Bits of Wealth's tweet because this is something that is so awesome. People love to talk about income inequality, but very few talk about effort inequality, discipline inequality, consistency inequality, no days off inequality, stay learning, take risks, make sacrifices, lose it all and try again. Man, like amazing stuff here. This tweet is gold, and I'm going to actually retweet it right now live. And I encourage everybody to also retweet it. This is absolutely incredible. This is so true. And this is the part of being a trader. Being a trader is not easy. It's not an easy journey. You're going to lose it all at some point, and it's The early on it happens better because then you can rebuild, you can learn all of your lessons early on. It's better to lose thousands than to you lose hundreds of thousands. It's better to lose hundreds of thousands than to lose millions. It's better to lose millions than to lose hundreds of millions and billions. And so the lessons that you get, those are the best ones, right? And so all of us pretty much have our fair share of learning. But Bits, this was phenomenal.
Yeah, I have to agree too, lady, that, losing it all, honestly, I can't even count how many times I've lost it all. Like, it was crazy, dude. Like, the first beginning of my trading journey, like over a decade ago, man, I was banging my head against the wall, just being like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Just getting wiped out over and over again, trying new things. And then there's that one, like, aha moment where I was like, oh, it clicks, cool, and it was great. But I have to agree that I think losing it all is a requirement in this trade.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I see on your screen, I see on the go is listening to Trump to confirm aliens are here.
Wait, where? Oh,
Yeah, you can feel that.
Right
Oh man.
Oh, on the
so
go.
funny.
He's always on the go.
He's always on the go.
Yeah,
No.
I can't remember what sparked me to write this, but it was like I think I was seeing someone like complaining about this stuff, and I was like, you do realize that a lot of the people that complain about this aren't willing to match the output of the people that they're criticizing, right? Like they're not willing to do that. They're not willing to not take weekends off. They're not willing to work, 18-hour days. They're not willing to not take that vacation because a work opportunity or network thing came up. Like it's just it is the way it is. And it's not just that wasn't even like trading inspired. It was more like just life general inspired. Just like, man, it's just we live in a time where everyone wants the reward and no one wants to put in the work,
Yeah.
Yeah, Bits.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. Now, on that point, I think part of it is because, like, I don't know, I'm Gen X, I'm old. I'm an old man at this point, but I remember, like, when I was younger, if you saw someone with like a nice car or like, living in a nice house or, whatever, nice stuff, right?
Sure.
You're like, oh man, I want to be like that. Like what do I have to do to be like that? I guess I got to work harder than everybody else or whatever. And I think like, I don't know, like people kind of looked up to stuff like that. And I think now, it's like, oh, they got a nice car, so hate on them, or oh, look at the like look at the inequality and yada yada
shifted,
yada.
Man.
So
there's a lot of like, entitlement that's with it now.
Yeah, sense of entitlement is definitely there. I will tell you, this is like over a decade ago, when I was at a hedge fund, and when I started there, this was going back to 2011. I remember the CEO of that company, like the best way to reach him was basically at 2 a.m. Like if you email him at 2 a.m, you're going to hear back very quickly, very fast. And that was like the eye opener for me so early on that, okay, if this guy, he's a billionaire and he's awake this late and this is the best time to reach him because he's going to look at his email and respond very quickly. What the heck am I doing? Who the heck am I? Like, I should not be sleeping at all at this point, if I want to get anywhere close to being successful in this life. And, we, of course, people love to say, we love to criticize billionaires and this and that. But man, if you look at their discipline and their work ethics and everything else, it's a completely different story. And remember, most of those people are self-made. It's not, of course, some of them are blessed enough to get the wealth from their parents, which again, it's an art to keep that wealth and not lose it all. But a lot of people are also self-made, so that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, it was so awesome when you said that, because we hear about these income inequality and everything else, especially when you're an entrepreneur. Like, you have to be so disciplined. There's no boss. You have to wake up every single day. You have to show up. You have to trade. You have to not take risks because no one else is going to tell you what to do. It's just you and and it can also get lonely. And then also it's funny when like when people see you do well, immediately they go to, oh, you're so fortunate, oh, you're so lucky, or you're so privileged. It's like no one really sees what what goes on. And so it's it's fun. So going back to the charts, of course, Bitcoin, I can see what bits is talking about, right? A little bit of a um, maybe upside here. So what I'm seeing here so far right now, the only thing that concerns me on at least smaller time frame is no retest of this EMA here on 200 EMA. So I do feel maybe some more downside, but again, let's see how far it can go. I am not in a trade right now. Remember what I said a few weeks ago, range between 80 and 64. Give me a 64 like underneath this, right? And maybe I could buy if there's a pattern. Bit says actually buying. He's okay with, this is a support level really, but maybe we could go as high as 80 and maybe even retest this one. And then
and I'm happy to size aggressively on a sweep of that low, because I would like that previous week low to be taken. I don't know if it's going to, but I really would.
Yeah, I don't know if it will at this point, but weekly, I mean, I know I keep saying this every single time on a stream, on spaces. It's spending too much time on 200 EMA on weekly, and usually it breaks to the downside. This is how I was taught. So
it's riding it, yeah.
So this is exactly how I was taught, and I'm gonna stick to that. That hey, more downside before the upside. So we'll see. But we are kind of getting like, it's one of those times where you've had so many monthly red candles that we are way overdue for a green candle. Even during the last bear market, we had 3 red and 2 green. And this time it's been red. Like, okay, where is the green? Like, we need some green
so bad here. It's good.
Yeah, exactly.
So bad it's good.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, and this is in line with that 12-month close. It's also the first time we've had that nasty of a 12-month close. So it's kind of not surprising that, like a lot of people are saying, man, we've never had a red January and a red February. And it's like, well, yeah, but you never had a nasty 12-month close on BTC the way we just did. So
exactly. And it's funny too, when people say that, it's always in the bullish sentiment. And I'm the opposite, right? When I'm looking at it, I'm like, yeah, there's a first time for everything. So maybe we will close red for February, which makes perfect sense the way that we closed our yearly candle. It was a very ugly close. So yeah, again, I'm maintaining the lows here around 30, in 30s, right? Under $40,000 is somewhere here. If we get there soon, like before October, that's going to be a bad news, because that means further downside. But if we get into this box in October, I am going to be a very, very happy person. I'm going to be the happiest person on planet Earth, maybe the happiest person in this universe, including like if you combine all of the aliens and everybody else. So we'll see when we get here. So let's see. But yeah, this is really what I have for today. Just wanted to make sure that you guys get some of the information from some of the other really awesome traders. Bad Price, if you want to bring up your charts as well, William, you as well. Let's see who's ready to go next.
Yeah, Price, you want to go? You want to go first? I'll go last. It's fine.
Sure. Yeah, just give me 1 second. Hold on.
Unless Bits, you have something else to add.
No, the only thing I would say is like, look, just to give some clarity for BTC, I think right now either we need to sweep these lows here, which is that previous day low. Either we need to sweep this and then try and reclaim that to make a move higher, or I'm looking for some strength above like 68.5 roughly right here. Like I'd want to see some strength and then maybe a pullback for something like that going into for the weekend. And maybe this takes maybe it chops around over the weekend and we get this move next week. I don't know, but yeah, that's basically what I'm looking at is this, this is like, if I have to give you my clear range, like that's it. I need to see strength above this. I'd like to see a sweep of the low. If I'm looking for a long opportunity on like a reclaim. And then for shorts, I'm really only interested in shorts if we start getting up here, either towards this like 71 to 72 area or pushing up a little bit past that. But that's pretty much where I'm at. I will look for shorts, however, as well to the downside if we were to show weakness down here. Like if this fell significantly past the point where you could see a reasonable reclaim of this, and it starts kind of chopping its way up there like that, yeah, I'm looking for a short for something like that off of that level. But it's got to put some time and some distance here between that zone. So there's a lot of factors that'll go into this. Like this, it would need to be violent. You need to see a lot of volume come in, and then you'd want to see a super fast move that gets you back into that in order to be looking for any kind of longs off of that. So yeah, it's all about patience. It's all about patience. Wait for that setup. Either we're going to see strength show up here and then we look for that, or when you see something like that, and then we could potentially shop for that. Otherwise we're probably looking at shorts.
That's awesome. Looks like
Price looks like he's ready. Yeah.
Go ahead, Price, take it away.
All right, I really don't have too much to add, to tell you the truth. It's been pretty boring. Last time we were on FOMO Friday, price was like way back here. I think we were coming up. Yeah, and just kind of talked about how I think we will see some consolidation, just some chop, sideways action, a range, right? So I was talking about look for the range to start forming, and that's what happened. Yeah, and this is like, Bitcoin loves to go from range to range, right? Like forms a range, has like, range breakout, makes a little bit of a move, and then it just starts forming another range. And it does that both to the upside and the downside. So after coming off this downside action, right? It was like, okay, well, we broke out of the previous range. We've come down a lot. We saw a bunch of liquidations. Yeah. So now we're probably going to see another range form. And if you don't I don't know, if you don't know what to look for, if you're not expecting that, then it's easy to get chopped up, right? Like it's pretty easy to get chopped up. If you are expecting it, then yeah, you just wait for a range high, high to come in, a low to come in, and the range just starts forming, right? I don't know. I've been playing ranges so long that it gets easier and easier to start kind of predicting, like, okay, here's the move up. All right, we're probably going to start turning, and that's probably going to be like the top for a while, right? And then I'm looking for, a low to form, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, so as you know, I don't like trading fair value. Anything between these two yellow lines is pretty much considered fair value. The exception is if I'm like doing some kind of scalp or something, right? And a lot of times that's just like, I'm bored. I see I can make some like extra money or something real quick. So let me, play a quick scalp or something. But really what I'm looking for is price to get overextended in one direction or the other. So I'm looking for shorts up here, longs down here. So according to that, I had to take a long recently. We came down, actually tested like this weekly support zone I have. Underneath the value area low, momentum was starting to print a series of higher lows, right? Money flow didn't look the greatest, but all things considered, I took a small long, nothing too crazy. And I'm still just kind of chilling in that. I want to see a break of structure right up here around 68, let's call it like 68 and a half. All right, 68 and a half. Of course, if we get that, then we got this point of control right above us. So we'll see what happens. But I want to see a move back to the top. If we don't get that, not good, because like you showed a second ago, we're sitting kind of on like a cliff's edge, if you will, right? Like we're at like major support area. Yeah, and I think if we break that, you know, it could get all bad pretty quick. But overall, man, it's just been pretty boring. I haven't been trading that much. Yeah, if like I'm with bits, I'm looking to short. Obviously, if we can get a little bit, you know, overextended above the value area high, I'll be starting to look for shorts. But I would like to see some kind of like a fake breakout or something, like a move up to 73.5-ish or so. I think that would be real trappy if we can get up there. So yeah, I'm looking to short higher. I'm not looking to short down here, obviously. Like I said, I am in a long. I don't have like the highest confidence right now that any kind of move might have like legs on it. So yeah, basically I'm just looking for a move, you know, back to the top here. But if you take it from down here to, yeah, it's not a bad move, 7%. You know, so overall, it's just been boring, man. Just not too much to write home about. If we zoom out some, one thing that is interesting to me I was looking at is, so usually like when I look for longer term plays, oh yeah, and like I said, ranges kind of play into ranges. It's interesting. We came down right to the volume area low, like of this previous range that we were stuck in for a while, and it kind of caught like right there. The wick did, so like to the dot, which is pretty wild. But one of the things I do look for when I look for like longer term plays, when I'm looking to kind of go heavier, all of that, is MPP, momentum, volume, and price, right? So, you know, price up 12 of the past 15 days, price is up 20% or over the past 15 days, volume has increased over the past 15 days by 20% or more. And last time we saw that, that's also when you'll see like a lot of institutions coming in and buy, you know, as they look for these kind of requirements as well. Usually when all three of those are met, you know, you're going to see higher prices in the future, right? So last time that was met was way back in February, March of 2024. We haven't really seen those three requirements met since then, which is wild. We've seen momentum met, right? Price up 12 of the past 15 days. We saw that back April 2025. But ever since then, nothing. So, yeah, I like, again, for my longer term plays, that's the kind of stuff that I like to see. Not seeing that, haven't seen that in a while. So everything's just been pretty much, you know, like my bias was, you know, Bitcoin, when Bitcoin gets above 120, I'm going to start selling. That's what I did. And I just don't see any reason to start buying it back yet, you know, for the long term, to tell you the truth. So anyway, yeah, it's just nothing to write home about, really, you know, just broke out this range, came down, and here we are sitting, forming another one. You know, doesn't look really bullish to me. Like, you know, so we'll see. But it's like we said earlier, you know, it's like right now are things so bad that it might be good, because I've been expecting like some kind of like actual bounce, like a real bounce, right? To really get, you know, people kind of bulled back up, at least retail, right? Like bulled back up and, you know, get them to come in and start buying at higher prices. And that's usually a sign that we can start sitting at lower. Haven't really seen that yet at all. It's you know, like when we were looking at that monthly chart, it's just pretty much been straight down. So it's like, okay, is it time to have a green month? Like, and I'm not keeping my expectations too high on it, right? Like even a move back up to like 73.5 would be fine by me. You know what I mean? So I can like jump back in shorts. Let's see what else. DXY, keeping an eye on that. DXY starting to look similar in a way, like, you know, it's at a pretty vital point down here. I'm kind of looking for a bounce. I'm kind of expecting a bounce here. So something else I'm keeping an eye on, as well as traditional markets. Yeah, when you look, it's starting to look toppy to me. Right? Like, okay, so one thing, like you can really see it when you look at the daily on the NASDAQ is, you know, prices continue to move up. Finally, we're starting to like consolidate and start going sideways. And this whole thing up here is starting to look a bit toppy. Like I can see it maybe making a move back up to like the structure point right here, not putting in a new high, getting rejected, right? Like, you know, it's putting up a fight. But we can see as price has been continued to go higher, money flow's just been trending down. So there's a massive divergence right there between the two. Same with momentum. Momentum's pretty much trending down as well. Yeah, major divergence right there. And in my experience, that's not really sustainable. So I could be wrong, but I don't think we're about to like just break into a new all-time high and make a whole leg higher. I think, and it looks the same across all major indices, right? Like same thing here. Money flow's trending down, momentum's trending down, price continues to move higher. So I just don't see this, you know, breaking into clear skies until like we have some form of a correction, so a decent correction, like a good, you know, 15, 20, 25% correction on traditional markets. It's just starting to look toppy, or at least the beginning stages of a toppy looking market. And I mean, we've gone on a hell of a run in traditional markets. Like, you know, it's been pretty crazy. But how will Bitcoin do if traditional markets go into a correction? Right? Probably not too well. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same. Here's the Dow, same thing. Price went higher, money flows trending lower. Yeah, I mean, not too much to really add besides, you know, that. Man, look at Ondo. Ondo got crushed.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
First time I bought Ondo was around 24 cents or something.
Yeah, it was really low.
Yeah, it was way back here, like right after it launched.
Yeah, I was super bullish on the team and like the project and everything, like the company that they were building up. So I bought like at 18, I think, when they first came out, 18 or 20. And then I was just like shouting at everyone, "You should buy this." And then of course,
yeah, me too.
It goes to like 150. I'm like selling at like 130. Like, yeah, dude, told you.
It went to 214. Yeah, this thing.
Yeah, I sold early. I sold very early on that one.
Yeah, yeah. This was I don't know. Ondo was a great play for me this cycle. But here we are back to just a couple cents higher from where I originally bought. Yeah, I've been off that for a while. Solana's at a vital point. came right down and tapped weekly support zone. You know, just you can look at Solana as like just one big giant range pretty much at this point. So if you look at it that way, we are extended, pretty extended to the downside, but it was the break, you know, like this 120 area held up for a long time. You know, it got tested so many times. It really held up. So when the 120 area kind of broke, it was like, all right, I'm gonna get out the way. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'll buy back. You know, if we can get back down to
40,
yeah,
47.
let's say $30.
Oh, it's going there for sure. That's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah, $40, $30, something like that. You know, if we can get back down to like these highs, yeah, I think that might be a really good buying opportunity. But I mean, just this looks ugly. You know, monthly chart 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months straight down, almost a half a year of just downside price action.
But man, Solana's the future. Bad price. Come on, man. Yeah.
Which is, I'll say this: it was the most tested network. Yeah. This cycle, like Solana, definitely was the most tested network.
Yeah.
Of course, the vast majority, or pretty much all of it, was just degen gambling, right?
What? No.
Points and all that. No. But, yeah, I don't think we've had 5 months straight down before.
Yeah.
And Sol
has been.
I see 3 months straight down here. I think that might be it. So I think we have a new record, people. I think we have a new record in Solana straight downness.
Oh yeah, Solana is going to give us some really awesome entries.
Yeah, and of course, stablecoin dominance. Keeping an eye on stablecoin dominance because, you know, it does look like it might want to catch a bounce and a run up. So, you know, we kind of need that going the other way if you want to be bullish on crypto. We kind of need that, right, to take a dive. But I don't know. So there's a lot of warning signs out there. Like, you know, so on one hand, we have, okay, it's looking so bad that it might be good. You know, kind of hopefully we can see a little bit of a bounce or something, trap a bunch of people. On the other hand, you have traditional markets not looking, you know, starting to look like they're topping out. Of course, that could take a minute too, though. I'm not saying, you know, we're going to have a correction in traditional markets tomorrow. It could take a while to play out, especially after the run that we've had, right? Like the thing did not want to come down for so long. Like, as you can see, this divergence between price and money flow, that's been going on for a minute. Right? Yeah, like this has been going on for a while. So it's been holding up. But again, you know, can Bitcoin do well with traditional markets you know, coming down like that? So I don't know. I guess one hope is that it takes a while for a top to really form. And in that time, that will give Bitcoin enough time to catch some kind of a bounce that could bull trap some people, right? But yeah, overall, you know, yeah, this whole consolidation, I guess, you know, just looks, I guess, like another bear flaggish, I guess. I mean, if you inverted that, you know, it wouldn't look too bad. You might think some continuation, but I don't know. Inverting actually makes this looks like it wants to come down some before it would go back up. So that's another thing is, you know, hopefully this does come down, which means that that's actually going up. So yeah, but again, my you know, I'm not in the camp of we're going to go on and make a new all-time high or super cycle or the cycle is dead. I think that we're just business as usual. Bitcoin's been trading very technically sound. Yeah, so all I can do is play it level by level, range from range. And yeah, right now, like I said, last FOMO Friday, kind of expecting a range. That's what happened. So everything's just been kind of going according to game plan.
Yeah,
Really.
it's amazing to see the same range kind of playing out.
Yeah, I mean, rinse and repeat. So now it's just like, okay, when this thing does break, will it be a breakout to the upside or down she goes?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, really, that's again, not too much to talk about.
This is great.
Right now. So just wanted to show that there's definitely it does look like we could, hopefully at least see the top of this range again. Right? If we don't, that's all bad. But the overall picture, there's a lot of warning signs out there with traditional markets and DXY, stablecoin dominance, just all of it. So
love that. Well, thank you. Thank you, Price. That was a great overview. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen real quick. I have a couple of things that I want to share before I pass it on to William. First, I want to say this tweet. So Black Widow, you should be following her as well. Really awesome trader, and has the simplest charts out of everybody. Like, she does not really use much indicators at all. Very, very plain charts. She posted something. It was last night, I believe, or yesterday. And she said, no way they just let me buy 60K capitulation just so I can sell it at 80K counter trend rally and then let me buy it back sub 50K, right? No way they let me do that, right? And this is what basically she is wanting to do. Basically, is just catch some of the upside here, and then of course it goes lower. So this goes in line also with what Bits of Wealth was sharing earlier. So just something I always like, even though I am bearish, like I don't see it going this high. It could. A lot of people are saying, this could happen, and they have a lot of experience as well. And one of us is going to be wrong, or, some of us are going to be wrong, and that's okay. I'm not going to be right all the time. So keep an eye on what she's posting as well. She has very, very clean charts, easy to kind of understand, especially if you're new to trading. I encourage you to give her a follow. Really phenomenal trader as well. Sol USD, since Price was talking about it, these are the levels that I have drawn. The first level was already hit. I'm waiting for this second level to be hit. Maybe a little bit of an upside here, not much, just a minor level. These two are the levels that I'm interested in. If I was looking at it on an M15 chart, like a lower time frame chart, a pattern like this would mean I'm going below this level. Usually, that's what I would be targeting if I shorted here. So I would be shorting here or here. Both of these are confirmations. My stop loss would have been here or here, and then I'd be targeting under this. So let's see how low we can go on Solana. I would love to buy Solana at this level right here, right? So between $7 and $14.
That'd be a steal. Oh my god,
that would be a steal. Yes, no one is going to want to go close to it at that point. Or if not this, then at least this level here, right? Which is okay. Again, timing over price. October and November are going to be the times that I'll be looking to re-enter the markets. Let's see where we are, what the markets give me. So that's really all from my side for today. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic on to William. I see you have your charts up already. So
yeah, my boring, simple chart, just the Ichimoku with the 200-day or 200-week EMA. Yeah, so really similar stuff that we've talked about here on Bitcoin. I think, Lady Trader, you're spot on with the EMA there. We've been riding that thing for a while, as you can see with the candlesticks here. I don't think that pays into like, oh, we're going to bounce here necessarily, but I think we could see some kind of bullish movement to the upside. And the reason I think that is because we have the conversion line here and the conversion line is the blue line, the baseline is the red line. They're separated, widely separated right here. And these things on Ichimoku, they need to tighten up. They constantly need to tighten up. And so because they're so separated, we're under the cloud. I think either A, we consolidate and chill out around this area and keep chopping, or B, we could get some movement to the upside, have these lines meet up again, and then just get rejected by the cloud and fall through the 200 week EMA. I just don't think there's a lot of indicators telling me we're going to be rising up from here. I mean, again, the biggest one being we're under the cloud, like we've talked about before on these streams. Like, this is the biggest one, guys. Like, that's, if you're under the cloud, you have to break through the cloud again on Ichimoku to enter a more bullish territory there. And as you can see, we're building up bearish momentum right here. So I don't want to sound too repetitive, but I agree with everyone with what's been said here so far. I think Bitcoin either A, chops around a little bit here, giving time for that baseline, that red line, to meet up with the blue line there, or B, we rally for briefly, like maybe up even to 75K, maybe even 80K before getting smacked down again here. I don't really see a bullish way out of here until we get out from under the cloud. So without being too repetitive, that's my Bitcoin analysis. Now, on my other tokens I've been watching, I shouted this one out a bit ago. This is ALGO. So let's go in the daily Ichimoku. And I was like actually waiting to call this one out. So we had broke support here. Obviously, we had a nice established support right here that turned into a resistance after we fell through it. What I was waiting for, and I've been kind of DCAing into this one for a while now, what I've been waiting for is one, we had this cross here. So you could have, bought in right there when you had the conversion line across the baseline, but it was kind of a fake out because we got rejected by the cloud. So we went lower. And then you had another one right here. But a key thing that happened was we broke out of the cloud right there. So we break out of the cloud there. We retested that nice red candle, that daily candle there, come right back up. And now we're chilling right at this resistance level, but there's also this glaring 200-week EMA right here. And the reason I like combining the 200-week EMA with the Ichimoku is because we get a lot more assurance that, hey, we've made it out of the woods. Like, this is almost certainly a new bull trend that's forming. And so what worries me about this, before I get into why I'm bullish, is, we could get rejected here and then fall right back to the cloud and then just make our way down here. But what I'm hoping happens, what I think might happen, is when we broke out of this cloud here, we're forming new bullish momentum right there. New green cloud is forming. Granted, it's very thin. We break out here, retest, and then we just ride to Valhalla. Obviously, that's the hope. We go up, 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 up there, maybe nearing these old levels. Before, I think it was 5 cents was the old top. Let me check. Yeah, so near 4 or 5 cents. I think this is a great play to get into. Low market cap, extremely. I think this is like a $30 million market cap. A great team. Product that's being utilized by Fortune 20 companies. They're cutting deals with many, many, many retailers in Europe, as well as America and South America, and they're making money. That, I believe the CEO was just talking the other day. They're one deal away from profitability. Profitability, not just revenue. They're already generating revenue, but they're one more deal that they're about to close now, one more deal away from actually generating profits and becoming a profitable project, profitable company. In the DFIN space. So this is something I've been holding on to, been super bullish about, been dollar cost averaging this entire time on the way down. And so I think it's primed for a breakout if it already hasn't broken out here. Just got to wait and see if we can break out of this resistance level, break out of this 200-week EMA before it's all but confirmed there. Something else that I've been buying into was ETH. Obviously, this looks god awful. Let's go to the 4 hour here. It doesn't have as much price history. It came out in October last year, right after the 10/10 liquidation event, which was really funny. So we rallied up after that liquidation event and then came tumbling right back down. But some interesting actions happening here. A lot of volume is coming into this one. So right here, you had some crazy wicks. Crazy whips there, and then we had this massive rally today, actually, right here. So I can't say I want to buy this one just yet. I mean, I've been buying, of course. Again, I'm fundamentally bullish on this thing, and we talked about biases, of course. So yeah, I do have a bias on this one with the team and the project and the product they're building. But technically speaking, my technical analysis brain knows not to even touch this thing until we get out of this zone. We're just stuck under this massive cliff. We have to break out of this, get out of this new resistance here. basically turn it back into a support and then keep running up there. But again, extremely low market cap, high risk. I think this thing's a $3 million market cap right now, $4 million market cap. So those are some interesting plays I'm looking at that have been printing as of recent. Moving on from that, though, let's look at Helium here. So I know I do the D-pin talks here, so I'm going to get into the little D-pin hour on the show. Helium had some really interesting price action happen. So obviously this thing's been like down only for a bit. Obviously we talked about it on Lady Trader's D-pin show the other day. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. You could still make a lot of money utilizing Helium hotspots, which I'll get into their stats here in just a sec. But a lot of positive price action happening right here. You can tell, let me just pull out my little tool. Lots of volume, crazy volume spikes, and all of a sudden just massive price appreciation. Now, granted, on Ichimoku Cloud, we are in this zone where we almost broke out of the cloud, got rejected. Now we're chilling inside the cloud, which is kind of a contentious neutral zone. Right here, if you're trying to trade this, I would still stay away. I want more confirmation. I want to break out of this cloud. I want to get above this EMA here. And I want to be able to ride and retest that there. So from a trader perspective, I wouldn't touch this still, but just from the fundamental side, it was interesting seeing this massive jump from, I think we were at 84 cents all the way to $1.66 there, now riding at $1.43. So I'll go ahead and share some recent stuff that Helium's been doing actually, or they've been announcing. So this is funny. So Mardi Gras is happening in New Orleans right now. Let me zoom in on here so you guys can see this. Make sure it looks good for the stream. And yes, it does. Perfect. So yeah, they had a 550% surge at Fat Tuesday over in Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
100,000 people hooked up to it in one day, which is crazy. That's 1 day usage right there. So there are people using the network. There's a lot of revenue still being generated on here. I mean, hell, they had a Valentine's
Hey, when they
Day
hook
post.
up,
What's up?
to the network, on the user side, do they even realize they're hooking up to the network?
Most of the time, no, because it's Wi-Fi pass point. So like what you'll see is that you're hooked up to, like, you'll see a Wi-Fi symbol either pop up next to your cell phone bars or above them. If you're an AT&T or T-Mobile customer, but you don't actually like select Helium to hook up to. That just happens. AT&T pretty much does it for you. If
Yeah,
you're an
that's
AT&T
that's
customer.
what I thought.
Yeah. So like if I'm an AT&T customer, I'm standing near this Fat Tuesday, or I'm inside Fat Tuesday getting drunk, having a good time with my friends, and I'm an AT&T customer, my phone will naturally hook up to that unit, and I'll be offloading data, and all that's getting paid by AT&T. So that was really interesting. They had a deployer workshop since my buddy Making Bank talking about how to deploy and pitch these things. Really good listen to. I would highly recommend listening to the space as well as watching the video. If you're trying to get into deploying these units, but I'm trying to find the stats from Valentine's Day. So Valentine's Day, there's a massive surge. Where was it? Right here. Yeah. So they had 3.3 million cell phones, 3.4 almost, hook up to their hotspots nationwide. Obviously, number of hotspots growing here, but revenue sitting at about 56,000 per day, which is awesome. They're 8 terabytes up 7 days, week over week there on the network traffic from Valentine's Day. But they're getting a ton of usage here, guys. And then recently, they just talked about net deflationary status on a recent post. Was it with Dylan Bain? It might have been. Let me pull his post up, actually. Yeah. So Dylan Bain actually talked about this. Where was it? Right here. Yeah. So even after halting Helium Mobile buybacks, so just for context, Helium Mobile is their cell phone company. So Helium has two sides of the company. One is the hotspot deployment side, and then two is the actual cell phone provider network, where like you can pay $30 a month, get unlimited data, unlimited talk, text, and all that. And you can utilize the Helium network because you're on that cell phone network. So they were taking their Helium Mobile subscriber revenue, people who are buying, subscribers to the cell phone network like myself, and taking that and buying back the tokens alongside of the AT&T revenue and T-Mobile revenue that they're generating from the offload. They stopped doing that in January. So they said, hey, we're not doing this anymore because the token price kept falling. And they said, well, clearly this isn't working. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to take our revenue and dump it back in the business and keep growing the business out. It doesn't make sense for us to take all of our revenue and just, keep throwing it into a trash pile, I think was what the CEO said. So basically they stopped doing that. It cut their deflationary status down. So they were deflationary from doing that. They weren't deflationary then. And then all of a sudden, a month later, what was it, over 8 weeks, their revenue is 2x pretty much, and now they're back to being deflationary. So it's really interesting to see that there's more usage coming out of the network. They're starting to pop up in Europe now. They're in Brazil. They're starting to become global, and the token price is still, doing this. So it's fascinating to me. Like, you have real fundamentals, real revenue, real growth, but like, obviously, the market might have noticed it right here, of course, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's just down only. So it's just very interesting. Still a lot of opportunities in DePIN, of course. Like I said, Alki was one of the plays I've been looking into. Another one I've looked into here is GeoNet. So I talked about this last time, but GeoNet, this thing just keeps chugging along. I mean, this is all throughout the downturn that we've seen, guys. Like, all of this through all the tumultuous like DS we've been through, all the price depreciation we've been through. GeoNet's still holding steady. Like, it's holding this support really well. Granted, like, we're making lower highs there, right here, kind of riding this EMA down. But for all things considered, I wanted to point out that like the price hasn't been just like, going off a cliff here with GeoNet, and they're making plenty of revenue and doing very well as a company. So I think DePIN is in an interesting spot right now, where there could be some gems lying in the wait here. Like, you have Silencio, riding in this kind of near support area, broke below recently, but they have a lot more revenue coming in through more deals they're putting out there. You have ETH, of course, Alki, Helium, all these guys that I think could be worth it. So DePIN, all in all, guys, really interesting spot right now. Token price may not be where it needs to be in order for us to purchase it and, kind of ride that swing up. But if you want to get involved, there's still plenty of money to get involved and plenty of revenue, plenty of potential revenue there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, William. That was a great overview. Appreciate that, and always appreciate you bringing in the DePIN discussion into these shows. And yeah, we had a really phenomenal DePIN show a few weeks ago. We need to start doing that more. And yeah, so it's gonna be fun. I'm fasting this, I'm a Muslim, so we fast the month of Ramadan. It's like from dawn to sunset, no food, no water. So I could only do so many spaces and streams this month for the next 30 days. But yeah, we definitely need to sit down and do like a nice hour-long stream once again, because I know there were a lot of questions. At least I had a lot of questions about some of these plays. So we'll definitely need to schedule some time so you could go over those with us. But yeah, DePIN is definitely a sector that I am overall bullish on. It's just that we happen to be in a very awful market conditions right now. Mm-hmm. And so it's just going to take some time for it to recover, I guess. But again, opportunities, right? That's when Bitcoin is sitting under $40,000. Imagine where all of these altcoins are going to be. They're going to be giving us some really awesome generational entries,
especially these market caps too. That's why yes. That's what I'm saying is like, Alki, for instance, is a $30 million market cap, and I'm just like, dude, this is easily a $1 billion token. And then like the same thing with ETH, with 375 AI, it's like $3 million market cap, and they're addressing $1 billion industry. It's like I'm just doing the math, and I'm like, okay, the math ain't mathing, bro. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah. And imagine, you're sitting at 30 mil. If Bitcoin is sitting at 40K, maybe we are going to get an entry under 10 mil or even 5 mil. You never know.
Yeah,
how
exactly.
low it could go, right? And then from there, like, let's say from 5 mil to $1 billion market cap. Like, this is another thing that I want to do, especially for the folks in Alpha Seedlings community, is as we get, I know right now we all love memes and we all love finding some of these meme plays, and we are doing fantastic with those. But as soon as we get close to the bottom of the market, we should be looking at smaller market cap and researching them, especially, with like legit projects. Ondo, I remember some of my group members actually were in seed round of that, and they did phenomenal, or one of the early rounds. I don't know if exactly if it was seed round, yeah. But, that was a nice little, nice 7 or 8 figure trade, depending on what your, entry point was. So, and how much you invested, of course. But a lot of people printed off of that. So let's see what we can find at the end of this bull year, or I'm sorry, at the end of this bear market, bear year that we are in right now. And then hopefully we get, some bullish price action after that. But yeah, this was a great discussion today. Thank you everybody for joining, and thanks. Bits of Wealth was earlier here today as well. He had to drop off early. But he did an excellent job as well going over his charts. Make sure that you're following him for his live daily streams where he's finding some good trades live as he trades with you all. William, Bad Price, thank you so much for co-hosting it with me as well today. Appreciate you all being here. And we'll be back again, hopefully next week with another FOMO Friday. And of course, I will be doing my live stream with Bits of Wealth as well on Monday and Wednesday. And we'll see if we have something coming up for Tech Thursday as well. We'll keep you posted. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, everyone.